Hey, Blue Rockers, welcome to Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. It's Tuesday, so it's Crypto Connie Tuesday. All right, this is Earth's most interesting conversations, and that includes people, places, and things. And those of you know what I mean when I say things, because the other nights that we have coming soon in the future are Wasted Wednesdays, a serious look at the cannabis industry. On Thursdays, we have like Far Out Thursday. Now, they're not every week, but for the most part, you're going to be getting that coming up soon. So be patient, those of you out there. The Far Out Thursday is anywhere from, I always like to say, bees making honey to UFOs, hybrids, psychic phenomena, all sorts of really cool things like that. And then on Friday, it speaks for itself with Bigfoot Friday. And on Sunday, that also speaks for itself with Stan's Bible lecture. So the Bible lecture is on 2 p.m. Eastern on Sundays, and all the other shows are at 10 p.m. Eastern. And in between, there's a lot of live breaking news and a lot of live action happening along the way. So you never know what's going to happen. I could be out on a trail, I could be eating some good food, and I might do a Where's Willis, something that we also do on Coast to Coast, and it's a lot of fun when I do that with George Norrie. So those of you that don't know me, background of television and radio, both national broadcast and international, all my life, as long as I can remember, and that includes Speed and Oxygen Network and Disney and UPN and HSN and QVC, and it goes on and on and on and on. And one of those infomercial people too. Yeah, I know, but it's fun. And also on Coast to Coast AM radio, which is the most iconic radio station out there. I think it's the best of the best. So last time I was on, I want to thank the people that showed up. Lori Williams, our remote viewer, with a kind of a aftermath of a Bigfoot baffler that she had. And we also had William Gazetke on, a filmmaker. He was going to be talking about a guy out in, I guess, well, he's on the other side of the planet, but what he sees are crop circles, and he sees them before they show up, and he can tell you what they're going to look like, when they're going to arrive. And I mean, he's actually going to draw it for you, and he's going to take you where it is before it even happens. So really cool stuff. However, the sound was bad for him. Get that? An audio guy too. Sound was bad, so we ended up bringing on Jerry Wills, who is a really incredible person that we've talked to before, and he talked about ayahuasca in the Peru, taking that in Peru with the shaman, the real deal. So anyway, I'll be back soon again, and we'll have William on to talk about Robert, and then we're going to have Robert on in the future, and then we're going to have Derek Tyler on in the future. All those people will also be here on Blue Rock Talk, as well as I think I might have snubbed Crystal Hope Reed, the animal communicator. I think we were supposed to have her on last Thursday, or maybe it's this Thursday, so I'll check it out. So anyway, those of you that are new here, welcome. You are a Blue Rocker. That is someone in the know, and this is how we say hello. That's our little Blue Rocker sign. Just want to thank everybody for subscribing. It's going up, and the numbers are going up, and the views are going up, and a lot more questions out there. I can't keep up with it. I'm ready to hire somebody on and say, help. I'm already ready to do that now. So anyway, Crypto Connie Tuesday, let's get with it. All this past week, or wait a minute, this is Tuesday, so all last week and over the weekend, we had a lot of different break-ins happening, live break-ins, basically live-to-tape break-ins, because they were in the middle of a concrete building inside the convention area of the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas for FreedomFest. And we talked to a lot of people out there. As you guys know, we were talking about making history with Stan Larimer, the Godfather of BitShares, meeting with Sean Worthington, the founder of CloudCoin, and also RAIDA. So they met, history was being made. You saw the original business meeting that they had, that we had recorded a while back and then let you see it. And then we, they met for the first time in Vegas. And then, it looked like to me they got along pretty well. So we're going to be talking to them tonight, and you guys can ask as many questions as you need to. At one point, I'm going to be looking at some of the older questions, because I know there was a lot. We had, 3, 4, 5 different videos that came through that we did for you guys, and there was a lot of questions below there. So we all met a whole lot of new people, and Quint was out there too, so we got to meet the people of Quintric. So right now, let's go ahead and bring in our guys that were there that are just as tired as I am from it. I know we were exhausted and beat. I mean, anytime you do some sort of conference, especially in Vegas, because you just want to do everything, you know, and it's all alive and it's all awake, and it's just so much fun. And you hear ding, 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 ding the whole time. You go home and you still hear ding, 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 ding. Oh my gosh, it takes a couple days to get that out. But let's go ahead and bring on our guys for Crypto Connie Tuesday. We have Sean Worthington there first, and then we have Stan Larimer. Hey, you guys.
How you doing, Connie?
I'm good.
Hey there.
Hey, Stan. Your lips were moving like you were going to say something else. I'm sorry.
No, I guess, you know, I am operating in a strange environment here. I've got a little Apple iPhone on a tripod because Microsoft decided to upgrade my Skype just in time for showtime, and it's sitting there demanding that I log in, and I have no idea how to log in, so I'm now calling you on this.
Oh, we all hate that, and we all know what you're going through too. And you know, the crazy thing is, Sean is Mr. Old Microsoft man from the past, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
We were just talking about the fact how he reminded me of that dude from the Mac versus PC commercials a long time ago.
Well, Sean, none of us like the Microsoft Skype marriage at all.
Microsoft has a way of buying things and just screwing them all up.
Oh, okay, all right. We agree. We all agree on that one. Fist bump together, everybody.
Went downhill over there.
Get up there, Stan. All right, okay, cool. All right. Hey, Sean, do you mind just taking your camera down just a little bit? I want your head to match our head. There you go. Well, a little bit better. Oh, now he's king. Right.
By the way, I got a complaint, Connie.
What's that? Oh.
Well, I thought you said we were having a festival, so I put on my Hawaiian shirt.
Is that Hawaiian?
Yeah. That used to be the big thing in the aerospace industry, at least, that you know, whenever we'd have an offsite, you had to wear your Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, okay. I better not say. I thought maybe I seen it in the Brady Bunch version of the Hawaiian show that they had. That was it. They had the little taboo around their neck in the cave. They needed to go hide it. Does everybody remember that one? If you do, put that down in the description below. So again, everybody, welcome to Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. This is Crypto Connie. And by the way, those of you out there, thank you so much for giving in crypto. When you support the show, thank you. All the favorites are down below. You'll see now that to the list that's been added, of course, is Cloud, because they have merged. Well, we'll let you guys talk about that. But I do want to say real quick here, while we're all saying hello, this is kind of cool. Let me just refresh. But BitShares is at 22 right now.
All right.
Yay! And it's going up. It's going up. All right. And I'm real happy, too. I don't know why I have an error all of a sudden. What is going on? But I also saw that, Steam is $3. It went back up to $3. That's battling back and forth. And Stan, I had asked you, I'm hoping Steam to get to, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8. And I think at one point it went to 10, 11, or 12. And as I'm watching it, and I said to you, hey, it's at 3, and then it dropped back down to $2.95. And said, it looks, what happens at that point? And you're telling me that's when everybody freaks out real quick and buys. But when they do that, it never can get up to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12, correct?
Oh, yeah, it can. It's just that the way there is jagged sawtooth of people, each time it gets to a new height, there are some people who are guessing the whole way along the way, maybe I ought to take some profit right now. And then when they do, that pulls it down. And then the next surge, if you're on an irresistible rise, it will eventually overcome that. And people who do the little zigzags along the way hope to make some money by selling high, letting it drop, buying in, letting it climb, and sort of making profit multiple times on the way up. That's, if you're an expert, you can do that. And if you're like me, you should just decide where you want to be next year and hang on to it.
I gotcha. I guess. And what do you call me? A hodler, huddler?
Hold on for dear life. Hodl.
I'm a hodler. Hodl. Hey, that worked out pretty well. So, Sean, Stan, what happened? We had this meeting. We showed everybody the meeting behind the scenes. You guys met, and when we very first saw you, you were being carnivores, as you said, and you ate. The first time you met was with a sandwich, and apparently you stuffed it down your throat, because shortly after that you were saying, hey, we're back together where we could talk again in another room. I don't even know how you all did that so quickly. I don't think I moved from one room to the other setting my equipment up for you guys and you were calling back. I was hoping to get a snack myself. So then we said hi to you guys again, and then the show just kept going and going, and everything was happening. We met Quintric, the people of Quintric, and then we met all the people that were there, at least I think so, with Cloud and RAIDA, and then Harrington showed up. So it was kind of crazy. Who wants to speak first about how it went and what's happening? You're not in the middle this time.
I think that we get along really well, and it turns out that we have. We're both libertarians. We both love freedom, and we have so many ideas. And I think there's so many matches between our technologies that it's just perfect. So I'm very happy with everything, and I'm looking forward to having a very fun time working with Stan and his crew.
All right. So we've agreed to working together. In fact, it looked like you already were. What do you think, Stan?
Yeah, we're going to be counting on Sean for, doing all the, the technical advisory capacities on many different companies that we've got, and so, just even before we get down to specific projects together, Michael and I want and talked to Sean right off the bat about having him be just one of us, as far as the guys who sit there and try to coordinate things. And then, I think he's going to be very good at looking for those connections. And as he said, that we found quite a few of them. There's just a lot of magic. I think throughout this conversation, we'll talk about several of them as we go along. But I think there's a lot of complementary things, and we'll just take them one at a time and talk about them tonight. Yeah,
and I want you guys all to know out there that we will take your Q&A here. I'm going to try to look at some of the questions that have been asked already underneath the video. So if you guys see me looking at one point, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to pull up all the questions that you have. And I know that there's a lot of them. And I know you guys haven't had a chance to go back there and check them out yet, just because I know you're still exhausted from it. And then Stan goes and does his sermon too on Sunday, and that was a really cool and big deal too. So, and then he was on here doing the Bible class. So I'm just appreciative that we're here together, and you guys are ready to answer these questions. So what are? Go ahead, Sean.
I was going to say we're both workaholics. I can tell that.
You have no
One thing
choice.
I've noticed is about everyone in our group is they really work hard, and that's a fact.
Yeah, and there's really no choice, because right now I have never seen in all the businesses that I've worked, and I've done so many different things. One of the things about when you do broadcast television, whatever it is, or even radio, whatever it is that you are talking about, especially as a talent and hosting national television, whatever they give you, whether it's a product or a race car or a racing boat or a Disney something, whatever it is, it's a whole entire new business and industry that you talk about when you're the host. Like I did stuff over at Cape Canaveral too, Stan, and talked about the shuttle, and I got to go through all this really neat stuff. I had special clearances. I had that neat little card around my neck, and I could go to neat little areas. And every time I ever did a new show, I learned something new constantly. But when it has come to the crypto world, I've never seen an industry move so fast. It is fast, and you better catch up with it. And I know along the way, as we all try to pull everybody together and make things bigger and better and easier and kinder and more fun and exciting, the people that you bring in are new to the crypto world, first of all, for the most part, but then they're old school business and they think it's going to take a long time. And you're like, get on the ball, let's go. Someone else already jumped in and just did what you did that they could have put together with their programmers in about, a week or sometimes less. Am I wrong on this?
Well, no, we actually experienced that. Michael got invited to, and I attended one time with him, to a group of, big bank companies who were getting together to compare notes on that thing. And, they were going around the room. We were both basically invited to be a fly on the wall there, but they went around at each of the major big companies. You've heard of every one of them, would be sitting there saying, some of them just come out and say, yeah, I'm here to participate, but I'm not allowed to tell you anything we're doing. and a lot of them would be willing to talk about what they're doing, at least to some extent. And then they would basically be saying, yeah, we've got a 5-year plan put together, and it's going to take a while to integrate all of this stuff. It just takes a long time to radiate out from us to all the world to get adoption. And finally, there was like 10 minutes left in the meeting, and they invited Michael to say a few words. And Michael said, well, in this industry, we do things from the bottom up, and it gets done in months, not years.
That's right.
And the reason that it's taking so long is because you expect it to radiate out from you, as opposed to integrating what everybody else is doing and trying to stay on top of it. And you could have heard a pin drop.
That's right.
When we were done at that time, I actually got to speak very briefly there. Michael introduced me, and I said, guys, it works like this. If you've ever watched a lake freezing, you look out there and you see little patches where the water is extra calm, form ice on it, and then more and more patches, and then suddenly in like 1 minute's time, the whole lake freezes over when it all gets to that critical point, and then boom, it all happens. And I said, if you're going to sit there like a giant oak tree and say the whole lake has to freeze out from me, it's going to take a while. But that's not the way it's going to happen this time.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. So what about you, Sean? Are you are the cloud guy and the Microsoft dude coming over into the exchange as well and working together with these guys that have held on. I don't know if you're the longest people to hold on or what, but 5 years is unbelievable. But here they are, hanging in this long and celebrating and still moving forward even stronger than ever. How do you see it? Do you also see it very fast as well?
Absolutely, and 5 years of surviving in this market is incredible. So BitShares is really, they been there, done that, experienced, and so it's really good to have that working relationship. And most coins don't last 4 months. I mean, if you look at the statistics,
it's true.
If you're going to invest in coins, often what you want to do is buy them and then within 4 months sell them, because that coin's going to end really fast. And we've seen a lot of course, dead coins, a lot of dying coins. So to survive 5 years is a big deal, and especially now that they're moving up the coin market cap, they're dominating, and they've got 3 major currencies there. That's just awesome. And of course, with CloudCoin, we have had to start something completely from scratch, doing things that nobody's ever done before. So we're not doing the crypto, we're doing the cloud-based currencies, and we have not, you can't just plug us into an exchange. And so it takes some extra effort, and you can't just plug us into a website like you can with a lot of these cryptocurrencies, but we're doing the hard work, and I think it's starting to come to fruition. And with Stan's help, we're going to go to the next level and hopefully have an explosion.
And both of you combined, you're both just going to zoom. There's no question about that, at least in my eyes and a lot of other people's eyes, from just seeing this come together. And you're right, that's one of the big questions is, how is the cloud going to be exchangeable? How is it going to be on the BitShares exchange? And how is it going to exchange when it's in the cloud? We don't get it, because that's what was so great about it, that it's in the cloud and it's private. And then, you got BitShares on the exchange and transparent. Both are, pros and cons coming together to make something great. So how do you do that? Have you figured that out, you guys?
Well, I mean, I can tell you that Stan has invented, I don't know if it was Dan that invented the DEX or if it was Stan or who invented it, but it's ingenious.
Dan.
Okay, Dan. But it's really ingenious because, it allows us to allows people with cloud coins that want to buy something else like dollars or gold or whatever they want to buy, BitShares, and they can upload them into our depository. Our depository then commands our wallet to give their wallet some cloudy tokens, if we want to call it that.
Oh, okay.
And then
cloudy.
I don't think that we've got the name exactly nailed down, but then they can take those cloudy tokens and they can trade them for any other currency, including gold and silver and other things, a lot of other things. And then they go, once they get those tokens from that currency, they go to the depository of that currency and they can turn those in and take possession of them. And so it's really an excellent idea. And I don't think people understand it, but it's really easy and it's very superior to any other kind of exchange that I've seen. And I think that it's just a matter of time before everybody's going to be using BitShares.
Well, I think once they start doing it, they'll see how easy it is when that's all set up. I think you might have lost some people when you said cloudy and they just started laughing and couldn't get past it. Maybe that was just me. No, I'm just kidding. I like cloudy. It's cool. It's cool. Say that again. That's kind of funny when you say it.
We're going to call the money Cloudy McCloudface. We had a contest, and that's the name that won.
Stan, did you come up with cloudy?
I think it was a group effort.
It was
talking around and using different surrogate names because we didn't know what we were going to call.
Yeah, I think it's on the Skype group name of some sort. That's when I saw it and went, that's hilarious. And I think that was Stan. I don't know, but it was cute. It was cute, whoever did it.
Oh, okay. I guess I did use it there, but I didn't mean to imply that I was trying to name Sean's product.
We just don't know what to call it, and that's as good a name as any for right now, I guess.
Hey, and Blue Rockers out there, what do you think it should be called?
Oh yeah.
What do you think it should be called? Put that in the live chat. Put that in the comments down below if you see this later. But you guys throw some things out there too, not just questions, but your suggestions and comments and any other thing you think that they might be able to do or that you think might be really cool with what they're doing. So I know. When will it be on the exchange when we can do whatever we want right now with it? When can we use it? Right? Yeah. I mean, right now we can buy BitShares, of course, and right now we can buy CloudCoin. But when can we buy it with each other, or can we already?
Well, Michael was on with the technical team almost half of the day, working on whatever it takes to make sure that got done. We got into a little bit of a clog because we both scheduled an event at the same time and overloaded the development team. And so we're working to get that unclogged, and I think it'll be relatively shortly, and we're trying to have it done this month. So we'll see. But any other news you had, Sean, from looking into it maybe closer?
Yeah, it seems that we're on our end pretty close to going. We have to fix the mail server a little bit so it sends encrypted emails instead of regular emails. But it's looking like it might be fairly functional once we get that wallet up and going, and we can just plug into it. So I think it's going to go pretty fast.
So, this is probably a point for us to just talk about. There are lots of different, I want complementary mirror images is the way I would describe it, meaning that these things go together like,
peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, peas and carrots, whatever. And ham and eggs. Or spam and macaroni and cheese.
Spam and macaroni and cheese is really good. Spam and buttered noodles is also very good. Peanut butter jelly is very good. Ham and eggs. And if you Blue Rockers have something else to put down, put it in the live chat so we can discuss that too.
It's like steak and potatoes.
Absolutely.
So let me put one out for it. Number one. Okay, we'll do more of these. Okay, I hope to get to 3 before the night's over, but at least 2. Number one complementary thing is the mirror image between Quintric and CloudCoin in terms of their relationship to the blockchain. Okay, both are unique products that have nothing to do with the blockchain. One is a gold depository, one is a CloudCoin depository. Okay, you hold gold for one set of reasons and you hold cloud coins for another set of reasons. Both of them want to trade in the beautiful world of crypto. And BitShares was built to allow things to trade without any middlemen in there. And it can trade assets that are entirely on the blockchain or assets that are backed by something. In this case, assets backed by either gold or CloudCoin. And so the first thing we decided to do together was simply to say, let's picture two depositories, one for gold and one for CloudCoin. Let's use as much as we can in common of the overall architecture, and then let's present that to the consumer as a pair of very interesting items. And just any given consumer is going to want some mix of them. But talking about each other is sort of a reinforcing way of communicating. When you have one thing sitting out by itself, like a CloudCoin, people don't know how to categorize it, or even like a gold coin on it. When you have a couple of them that work the same way and mental concepts come around, it starts to look like, oh, this is a whole new category. I understand one, I understand them all. And so by getting two of them together, who knows if there'll be more, but getting those two out there together allows us to have a lot of nice parallelism, yet they don't really overlap because there's a different reason why you hold each. And so we'll get back to many other comparisons like that as we go along, because we found quite a lot of them. But there's one of them for you.
I like it. I like it. In the live chat room, they said, I want to tell you who it is. It's Taskmaster 4450. This is funny. Cloudy sounds like a drug from the 70s. Quaaludes and Cloudies. Goes along with that shirt Stan's got on.
Is that going to help sales or is that going to hurt sales?
Is that what?
Is that going to help sales or hurt sales?
Hey, man, I'll let you know on the Wasted Wednesdays when that starts happening. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, at the way CloudCoin's likely to come on like gangbusters, I might want to call it Stormy.
Okay.
That's right. And you know my name. I don't want to say it because I don't want someone to go buy it real fast and be a jerk about it, right? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, got to be careful.
Don't say it out loud. Holy cow, these people are terrible. So what is the EOS marriage about from FC? What is the EOS marriage about?
Well, that you have to go back and generalize, okay, because there are many different ways things plug together. And before we get into that, I use the analogy of a lake freezing over, starting with different spots that grow together in different ways and freeze. And that's what we were seeing out there on the floor at the festival. And we'll probably mention a number of other things, but we had these two poles that we kept going back and forth between, the Quintric booth and the CloudCoin booth.
Yes.
And I felt totally at home in both of them, got to know the different people that were manning both booths. And any given time I'd be back and forth. And right in between was Kevin Harrington's booth.
Yeah. And by the way, you did great camera work for us for that, Stan. Thank you so much. That was great. It was great.
And we met other people that have special products. One particularly interesting is we were looking for something that would allow us to represent things with a physical bill, so that we could appeal to people in my generation who might be uncomfortable with crypto, but still wanted to hold some of these assets in a way that they're familiar with. And so we started talking to a company there that has a special type of bill that's just beautiful. And the bill itself is like gold plated on the inside. And it's got lots of other interesting non-counterfeit properties.
Excellent.
And it has embedded in it a code to something on the blockchain. So when you're passing one of these things around, it looks like money. It looks like super high-tech money, okay? And it then references the fact that there's stuff backing it, whatever it might be. And so there was another group that we suddenly found, hey, that could have interesting ramifications for what we're doing. And so throughout the day, it was just banging into different groups like that. And one of the reasons we go so fast is that every time a couple groups meet, they're looking for ways that they can, usually cooperate, because this is a big integration job, right? And that's what I used to do in the aerospace industry, was system integration, where you would take and pull in technologies from lots of different suppliers and integrate it into one system, whether it be a jet aircraft or a ship or whatever, a spacecraft. And so that's, I think, what we see more than anything else happening at this event, was getting together of a lot of suppliers that are, it's just like being in a Lego factory, and guys like me and Sean like to walk around and play with the Legos and think of the different ways we could plug them together. And that's what Sean and Michael and I were doing at this all the time, every time we were together, was contemplating different ways the pieces parts could come together.
I can see.
Now, I went off on that whole rant, and I don't even remember the question.
I don't either, but I do know how. But I followed you along, and you know what? His RAIDA will work wonderful to authenticate that money you're talking about, or those really cool dollars. That would even help authenticate it. I mean, that's so cool. I mean, that's you guys working again in congruency there. I love it. I don't remember the question, but I did want to say one thing.
I did. Go ahead. I remember the question.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to congratulate you all for doing it. I made me a little dirty martini.
Ooh. Oh my goodness!
So I could say
I had one of those one time.
Yeah, once. That was it. That's
Gave
all
me
it
a headache
takes.
for a hangover 3 days.
Oh, well, I don't know what
Is that
this
a real one?
Yeah.
It's a real one. This is the real deal.
Oh,
I know your technique. You're trying to get us drinking, so we'll spill the beans on stuff.
What are the beans?
She knows about the beans.
I know somewhat. I know you guys are going to make it happen. So I just want to say congratulations. I think it's awesome. It is history. And whether you got some Kool-Aid over there or something, I hope that you toast me right now, and all the blue rockers that are out there too, and all the other crypto people. I have a little filthy one. I have some... oh, he's got a mic. Oh, my gosh.
Got a snowball mic.
Oh, Stan doesn't have his Jesus juice tonight, but, here
I
you go.
don't have anything to drink. I usually get all set up, but I was fighting Microsoft and didn't get a chance to provide for my creature comforts here.
Well, if I continue to... Everybody drink when you hear the word cloudy. And if and if that's done by the end of the night, somebody else run the show, okay? Because I'm pretty much a wimp.
Let me go to that question of EOS.
Yes, EOS.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And you know why they're asking that, correct? Do you know why? Because there's a lot of things going cloud and EOS together. So that's why the question.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of our discussion.
Right, okay.
There's some stuff we can talk about and some stuff we probably don't want to spill the beans on quite yet.
I tried to get him to drink, you guys. I tried.
I'm going to dance around the subject a little bit here. Okay. There is a group in the BitShares community that is very interested in inter-chain communication. Okay. That means getting different blockchains to work together. And so one of the things that you'll find in that group is different people talking about how they want to do it. Okay, now we just learned about this group. It was announced while we were out there. So, I'm just catching up with what they're doing. But I was reading through all of the stuff, and it's like attracting everybody in the community that's got ideas about how to take and tie BitShares and EOS together. So, and the way they describe it as graphene chains, or more specifically chains designed by Stan Larimer, that are now going to be coming out in lots of different varieties, specialty chains, main chains, side chains, a whole zoo of different chains that can be integrated and get to work together and cross-couple. Now, we've been working on one such solution, and it's for a very specific kind of application where you need very low power, very efficient type of nodes. And that's another place where you get commonality between what we have on the graphene side, which is the world's lowest power blockchain, and then perhaps even lower power over on the CloudCoin and RAIDA type things. I'll let Sean address that. But being able to put both of those together in nodes that we can make available to elected witnesses where they can operate in low power environments, I'll just say that, is something else that we think is going to be hugely significant for reasons we'll reveal later. But go ahead, Sean.
Well, you said it pretty well. And yeah, we are certainly interested in saving electricity because the Bitcoin has become extremely inefficient and much too expensive to ever be successful. The value of blockchain of the Bitcoin couldn't compete with BitShares or graphene because of the energy uses alone. So we are interested in doing that, and we have just put 3 different programmers to work doing the same project in 3 different ways, so that if one of them screws it up, the other 2, the chances are that one of the other 2 will work. And with RAIDA, of course, we're concerned about redundancy, and so we can't have any kind of systemic risk in which one programmer screws up everything. So we have to have different software running on different things. But we're shooting for a custom application that allows us to run with very little processor cycles that will save electricity and will make it much more efficient and save a lot of electricity. Certainly.
Very good. So that was, in case people were falling asleep, number 2. Okay, a project for ultra low power blockchains / cloud arrays, RAIDA, whatever is the right way to call it.
We call them RAIDAs. It's fine.
Okay, and those have a lot of benefits that will be revealed this summer. Now, the other thing that if we wanted to go to number 3 of the things that we represent different ways of doing things that are beneficial, it has to do with privacy. Okay, and so we've got projects together that will provide privacy solutions for people on the public blockchains, where you can still be using blockchains, but you can essentially, go through the wormhole, if you will, and come out someplace else in a private transaction. And what we were working on and what Sean is working on are 2 different ways to achieve that type of either private blockchain or private depository. Another thing that's a nice parallel is today, coincidentally, Quintric announced private transfers inside the gold depository.
Oh, wow.
So right on the main page, if you want to send Quint someplace, you can send it in the clear, or you can simply instruct using your logon panel right there, the depository to make the transfer for you. In which case your competitors and your ex-wife can't watch what you're doing.
Very good.
It's not very good.
So,
hey, wait a minute. What side are you on? Oh, I see. Maybe we don't want our ex-husbands.
I'm worried about my wife, my current wife.
Well, yeah, I would be worried about whoever's there now.
So I just described 3 wormholes. Okay, CloudCoin, a private EOS chain, and a
depository.
Quintric depository. Okay. All 3 of those represent wormholes where people can shift funds around without the prying eyes of their competitors looking at it.
Very good.
I love this. So are these the things that kind of came into fruition over this this past weekend?
Well, each of us have been doing our own things, but
right.
You put all of us in a room and give us a couple glasses of wine, and you just never know what's going to come out.
Life is good. Yeah, you give Sean a half of one, and he's out, right? Because you're not a drinker at all, right, Sean? Isn't that what you said?
I do drink occasionally. Oh. I'm not gonna lie, but.
Oh well, you lied at what was that? What is it? Anarchopolis.
And Acapulco?
Yeah, you had this crazy hat on. You're by the pool, and you had like some fake water drink. Now you have vodka, and you were like going, "I don't drink at all."
I think I had one glass of wine in the past week or something.
Okay, now.
So.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. As I hold my martini.
He was pounding down special CloudCoin M&Ms, though.
Yes.
Did you make some of those for it?
Yes, we did.
Oh, that's
we have
so great.
CloudCoin M&Ms. Yeah.
That is great. You'll have to get some BitShare ones out there, too. That is really cool. I love when people do that. I saw that you also had a cloud pin.
Yes.
That was cute. That was really cute.
Well, you should have, if you could have been in the back room and watched us talk, it was like little kids, you know.
Having a ball. Well, tell us more about that. That's what I want to know. I just, that's what I pictured with you guys, because you're all very fun. You're all very kind and nice and giving, and you listen back as well as you give. And when you do give, you have such important information, fun information, and stuff that's really going to make changes out there. So, I mean, I'm so glad. I think, you know, I just see you all just having a blast. So apparently you're backing that up. So what was the most fun part in your all's conversations? Or, you know, did you have more fun when you were out together out in the convention area, or did you have more fun when you were having your lunch for the first time, or after hours, or with Harrington over there, you know, doing his thing too? He's funny.
Well, there were some times when we gathered around the programmers and had some private conversations, even though they were in public. They were you know, more or less private. And we certainly, you know, getting to, you know, I've got a bunch of ideas. Stan's got a whole bunch of ideas. Michael had a bunch of ideas, just coming together and brainstorming and hearing other people's ideas, and then all of a sudden that, you know, leads to other ideas, and it just kind of explodes. And especially when we start agreeing on stuff, you know, because for the first 3 hours we had so many ideas we couldn't, you know, figure out what was the most doable, and I think we kind of have centered in on some things that we think are the most exciting.
Glad that it's working out. You know, years back, if you met people and everybody lived in different countries or different states, it was just going to be hard and kind of too hard. Somebody would have to move, something would have to happen. Don't have to worry about that in today's world, huh? Isn't that nice?
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Yes.
And thanks to that's, you know, people like you guys putting these kinds of things together, you know, really, honestly. So thank you. I guess you all knew that you all wanted to stay where you wanted to stay one day in the future, and so you all created the world that way. So somebody had told me before that, okay, we got the blockchain, and somebody, and you were kind of talking about this, Stan, and someone had said, okay, now people are going to throw that blockchain away, and we got people like Sean Worthington's cloud, and they talked about some other things too. Is that going to be the way of the world, or is blockchain going to eventually die away? Are you now ahead of the game?
I think it's premature to say that. I will say that there'll be a big growth into what Sean's offering with his approach, and you know, so naturally, it's very, very strategic to be involved with that, and actually to be there, serving as an on-ramp to his whole new universe. Okay, there's another whole universe out there that we'll get to at some other time, an on-ramp to the decentralized web. Okay.
Well, let me write that down. What?
I'll just leave that layout there.
In the future.
As
the future.
As a smoking grenade for you to wonder about.
Love it.
But I do think that there's a never-ending process of innovation and so on. And anybody, I mean, I don't want to be guilty of the same thing that I laugh at the Bitcoin guys for. You know, Bitcoin guys are back there saying, well, you know, if you don't do things the way Satoshi Nakamoto did them the first time, then you're a heretic. You know, because Satoshi Nakamoto defined the technology for all time. It can't change. And of course, Dan and Sean and Jared are three individuals who said BS and went off in three different directions. Okay, so I want to position BitShare to be a nexus point, if you will, where we are a gateway to several new universes. Now, which of those universes is going to succeed? You know, I think they'll all succeed. in various different ways. And so I'm just delighted to be looking for ways to integrate that and giving people options of how they can do it. I described the idea back in my days in the aerospace industry. We had something called an auto router. It used to be really big technology, something that could figure out automatically how to route an airplane through a defensive grid in such a way that it would minimize its chances of getting shot down. And that was picking the lowest risk route through an area, or it might be the shortest route, or different criteria. And by building these different systems and integrating them together, it's possible to conceive of an auto router for your transaction. You specify whether you want low risk, high speed, low cost, whether you want to restrict it from passing through certain jurisdictions, and so on, and then we turn it loose, and it gives the optimum transaction for the particular individual who wants to do it. And so I can imagine routing a lot of traffic through the CloudCoin universe.
Yay.
And I don't think that to speak about the blockchain, I don't think the blockchain is going anywhere. It's a technology that has some really significant value to society, and it's going to be around for a long time. Things like what Stan is talking about, this auto routing, I don't think you can even understand how important that is. I think that you almost have to be sitting at the top and really have some inside information to understand how valuable something like that is going to be.
So is the blockchain, from how you see the future, is the blockchain the Model T, like you've spoken before, Stan? Is it kind of the Model T and then everything else kind of goes from there?
No. I think if you go watch a Star Wars movie and see all the different sizes and shapes of starships, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
They all can go faster than
Yeah,
Okay.
I see the blockchain as being, I see that there's a whole bunch of tools in the toolbox of the future, and the blockchain was just the first one.
Yeah.
It's just like, when mankind started using rocks as tools, there was the first one was probably the axe or something, but then they figured out, hey, we can use this rock for other things, and more tools came along. So I see it as being just the first one out of many that are going to come along, and we're going to need that tool for a long time, but we might find tools that are more specialized that can maybe do certain jobs better.
Okay, I can see that.
And then I love this this analogy of auto routing through risks. In the case of a wartime scenario where there's lots of anti-aircraft stations all over where you're trying to fly, and you're trying to fly in between them and around them and avoid them and so on. That's very comparison to the regulatory patchwork that 200 different countries, and inside America 50 different states. Each one of those jurisdictions produces risks for certain kinds of transactions. Some are wide open, hey, you can fly through our airspace anytime you want. Others will shoot you down if you even come near it. And so, depending on what people out there want to do in their transaction, finding the least legal risk for transactions is another whole category of specialty, right? Nobody wants to be illegal.
Right.
Okay. So a lot of people say, I need to move to a different country because my country is not a place where I can be free to do the type of transactions I want. And countries are very hypocritical. Here in the United States, there are places where it's absolutely illegal to gamble, and yet you can go to Las Vegas or New Jersey or all kinds of places and gamble with state approval. Okay, so it's not a morality issue. It's just a patchwork of different regulations. I am in favor of patchworks. Thomas Jefferson wanted a patchwork of every state having its own set of rules, and no federal government coming in and saying everybody has to use the same rule. Okay, but what we've got is a multi-tiered system. You've got some things like the federal government that are like long-range anti-aircraft missiles. They can reach out and shoot you down almost anywhere. And then you've got states that want to control the air traffic over their area, and you've got countries all over the place. All of that patchwork is a nightmare for someone who just wants to stay legal and get their mission done. It's not a question of crime, no crime. It's a question of wanting to go where they're welcome to do their stuff. And all of these tools we're talking about of jurisdictional management to keep yourself legal is a whole budding industry that's being created because the governments have, necessity is the mother of invention. The more star systems you try to squeeze in your fist,
here it comes.
The more will slip through your fingers. And so innovation is going to happen out there, whether the governments of the world like it or not. They'd be so much better off if they would cooperate with this innovation, because there's a lot of things to benefit government in terms of blockchain. You can encode your rules right into the blockchain so that the auto router can take them into account.
Well, that would be something that somebody's running for some sort of office should talk out loud about when they're running. Has anybody done that? Is anybody in that position?
It was interesting. While we were there, there was a table right in the path from the cloud booth to the Quintric booth that said, "Hey, if you're running for office, put your card here, your pamphlet." People were putting stuff there. There's a whole pile of different people who were running on some platform that was associated with freedom.
Excellent. I like that a lot. It's interesting, just kind of a little side note of what you said, how it's patchy, it's a kind of patchwork throughout the states. That's cool and not cool. I mean, it's good in a way. If everything was the same, at least you would know the rules all the way. If you were driving cross country, you would know the rules, and that's a nice thing. However, it's also nice to be able to go, oh, that state allows us to do that. Let's go over there this weekend and let's travel there. That's kind of fun too. And that's what's cool about like the culinary world. You can go to Louisiana, New Orleans and get this food, and you go, Texas and get that food, and New York and, that kind of thing. So that's fun, that patchy, but it's also cool to have the rules across the board. So I guess, good thing I don't have to make all the rules and the laws. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't be really good at that. But Sean, we were speaking of transactions, and you were making one. What were you doing? Were you giving the kids money, the wife money? What was going on there? Were they taking your money?
I was opening up some crackers for my son.
Oh, the true transactions in the world, the real ones. Well, someone had written in when I had said earlier that Steam was at now $3.04, and they said, "Where is Connie? Where is Connie getting this? It's it's at 136." No, Steam back dollars is at 136, and Steam is at 304 now, and that is something that I had to learn immediately, that there's two different ones there. So I was ahead of somebody on that one. Woohoo! At BitShares still at 22. I'm just excited that all the numbers are up. I feel so good about it. EOS is now at 903. And I'm looking at CoinGecko, so it's not even the one, Stan, that you always look at. So that one's usually up a little bit more than this one. What is it? You watch the cap market?
CoinMarketCap.com is the one I usually look at. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, so
but I'd rather look at Blocktivity.info because that shows that our coins are number 1, 2, and 4 right now.
Oh, all right! Yay!
Oh, and we got another one down at number 7 with Golos. So 4 out of the top 7 most active blockchains use our technology.
The BitShares dynasty, and it continues by adding cloud. Now, how much is cloud worth? How do we determine that? How do we know? Where do we check it as well?
Well, unfortunately, we don't. Since we're not on BitShares yet, there's not really any way for us to discover the price, and so you just don't know. You shop around, you can find different people that are selling for different prices, and so it's really hard to say.
Do we have a date? I'm sorry, Stan.
Well, I'm just saying that was it was in the beginning with BitShares too. The very first proto chain for BitShares before it got on an exchange. People were just posting. I've got so many of these to sell. Anybody want to do it? And they were negotiating right there on the forum to buy and sell them. So everything starts that way until it gets listed, and then now you get more efficient markets.
Yeah.
Well, they're out there saying that Sean prefers crypto brownies hash. Just saying that would be a good word though, hash. HASH, right? That's what you're looking for, is a short word, correct? Can you get a coin with one letter?
That's question for Stan.
Yeah,
I guess.
Stan.
I don't know of any coins that only have one letter. I know they get pretty expensive when they get down to 3 letters.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you can go down to 2 or 1, I don't know, but it might be a pretty hefty price because it goes up. The fewer letters you use, the more expensive they are because they're rare.
So yeah. So when you say expensive, like what? When people do want to make their own coin and they want to get the name, and they get a little 3-letter one, what?
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh my gosh! I mean, look, 2 sips of a martini. That was a freaking dinosaur to me. What? That sounded horrible. I pictured a dinosaur.
Small, cute dog, but she's got this awful bark.
What an awful bark that is. Let's see that dog.
She barks so hard that your head like blows up. She's got to shake her head. She's gonna bark her head off.
So Stan, what are we looking money-wise? A couple $100,000 or thousands of dollars?
Well, yeah, it's hard for me to give you a number because it changes all the time. BitShares price is changing, and the number of BitShares to do the different things is periodically adjusted by the committee. So, I can't tell you what it is right now. I haven't looked. I remember one time about a year ago to do the Hero cost me $4,000.
Oh, okay.
That was a 4-letter one. And then 3-letter ones would be more. But of course, if you buy a lifetime membership, then you can get 80% off on that price. And somebody reminded me after I paid it from an account that wasn't a lifetime member that I could have got it 5 times cheaper.
Oh.
So don't forget that.
Oh. I've got some property to sell if you'd like to talk about that later, Stan. Well, I'm looking forward to this D-Web that you talked about. I will put that on the list in the future. If you're just now tuning in, it's Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. Welcome to the show, Blue Rockers, Earth's most interesting conversations. And this is Crypto Connie Tuesday. We have Stan Larimer, the godfather of BitShares, and Sean Worthington, the founder of CloudCoin and RAIDA. And we saw last week the conversation they had as talking about possibly doing business in the future. And then they met for the first time at FreedomFest, and they're hitting it off like they're old buddies and old pals and everything like that. I mean, it's amazing. You guys really did hit it off. So what is the plan for the future? Can you give us any ideas at all? Can you tell us anything?
Well, I think we're going to...
Let Stan go. Sean plays it cool.
Yeah. We're not going to tell you anything.
Okay. Don't want to jinx it.
Mouth to use up time. What's that?
Don't want to jinx it.
Oh yeah, but to give you a generic thing, I think we're going to do a joint venture together.
Okay.
And that will involve integrating some of the integrating some of our stuff.
Yay!
to be co-resident on the same platform, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, and Sean, how does that make you feel? I mean, you got to be excited about that. I mean, that's Stan Larimer there. That's Stan
Absolutely.
The man.
Yes, yeah.
The Godfather.
I feel very comfortable, and so it's when you've got your own thing going, you're jealous of it, and you're protective of it, and everything else like that. But I feel very, very comfortable that we're going to be able to work together, and all walls will come down, and so I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, I could already see that going on, and that's what I think about both of you. I think that's what I was saying before, along with Michael Taggart as well. You're just very giving, and you know that, hey, we can't do this without each other. We can't do this all alone. We do need help. We do need to be different than everybody else, too. We do need to, strive forward, and so I'm just glad it worked out. I am very happy.
Yeah, and like you say, the wall's coming down. That's what I meant by the CTO kind of functionality for everything we're doing. We really want Sean involved in everything, because everything he looks at comes away with a new perspective. And just give another year or two, and he'll be much more well known than I am.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Well, you should have seen him at this festival. He was up there on the same stage with Judge Napolitano. He was the warm-up act for Judge Napolitano. Okay. And both of them were just wandering all over the stage, talking to the audience, and no notes, explaining what their thoughts were and everything. And I had no idea that Sean had that talent. I knew he, was a fun guy and creative guy and deeply technical. But boy, you can put a suit on him, and he becomes a Judge Napolitano.
How'd that go for you, Sean? Oh, we don't hear you, Sean. Your mic's off.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
Trying to make it so you don't hear my dog.
Yeah, right.
But I put a lot of work into that speech. I mean, we're talking about months and months and months, and so that waking up in the middle of the night having nightmares that I'm sitting on stage stuttering, and so I knew, we signed up for FreedomFest probably eight or 9 months ago, and so I really spent a lot of time preparing. I watched the speech. It was the best speech I've ever given, but I didn't think it was like, as good as I wanted it, and I don't think it was as good as I could do. But certainly, I'm not going to kick myself too much, because it's better than I could have ever imagined a few years ago.
Now, is he talking about the 10-minute speech that went 15, or the big hour one you had the next day? Which one was the big one?
It turns out that the long speeches are the easier speeches. Okay, I'm sure when you're relaxing, you're saying, I'm going to take questions, and if I don't make a point, I can come back to it a little bit later and remember and add it in, and I can edit my speech as I go along, and I can interact with the audience, and it's just super comfortable, like you doing live interviews, that kind of thing. But when you're up there and you've got 10 minutes to get all your points across, and you can't waste a single word, and so everything has to come out and fit together, in a comfortable way. That is a much harder speech. So his 10-minute one was far more important than his hour-long one, in my opinion.
Oh, we can't hear you. Turn your mic back.
I agree with you 100%. It's much easier to have a long speech than a short speech. And when I got up there, I was so relieved when I saw the clock said 15 minutes instead of 10. I'm like, well, they're not going to speed it up 5 minutes. I think they're going to actually give me the 15 minutes. And so that was a big relief, because I could just, slow down and talk about a little bit more stuff that I wanted to put in there, not as rushed. And so that was a big bonus. And of course, you get out there and there's thousands of people, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to lecturing to like 24 students, but not thousands. And it's just huge. And then, by the way, when you're walking up to the stage or walking from the back, the green room, you're walking past Judge Napolitano, who's also looking at his, script, trying to learn it, memorize it, and everything. So it was really exciting.
I think that's great. You know what? I love doing the stage work, and to me, it's easier to talk to hundreds of thousands of people than 10, 12, or 24. So wow. It's amazing. Usually you hear it the opposite way, like you guys say. And to me, it's just a little harder, because you can look at each person eye to eye, and they're checking out your shoes and going, or whatever they're doing, and you know what they're doing, and you're thinking, oh man, I can't even concentrate because that person over there is doing this, and the other one over there is eating a sandwich, and the other one over there is looking out the window. But when you have 100,000 people, you don't have to see all that. You just have 100,000 people, and it's awesome to me. But it's the little crowds that are tough for me, for sure. So, can I tell a little secret about you there, Sean?
I guess.
Okay. Yeah. I can only ask you now live.
Okay.
Why are you? I won't. Okay, I got to.
What secrets do you know?
I got to. It was. I get to, thank goodness, be able to call Stan and or Sean and, hey, what's up? What are you going to do? What's coming up next? And good old Sean was practicing his speech, and he's in the pantry. I'm like, well, where are you? He's in the pantry practicing his speech.
Yes.
I was like, there's a toaster, and there's some cereal back there, and syrup. What's going on? So that was kind of like, a little area that you could go in by yourself.
That's the only place I could go without disturbing everybody and practice my speech. And so I spent many tens of hours in the pantry practicing.
So that's when I think it's so hilarious. If people think that I over laugh about it, it's only because when people say you got this standing ovation and you were on, the lead into the judge, I'm just laughing. I'm remembering the pantry and you being really nervous going, oh my gosh, it was, so that's great. So I'm happy it was a wonderful thing. And I'm glad that Stan got to be there to see it. And I'm so happy.
I got to see Stan too, so that was good. Yeah. I saw him in the audience and was able to point him out.
Yeah, he actually got my name up there in lights for 1 second with a shout out. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome. That's the way it should be. Well, we got a couple questions here. Let's see here. CloudCoin Global is in the house. Who is that? Who might that be? Who is that? Who are they associated with?
Is that their YouTube name?
That's their YouTube name, CloudCoin Global. 2 questions. When BitShares DEX will be a when will BitShares DX? Okay, I can't read it right here, and it's not the martini. When BitShares DEX, when will the be a share drop? So when will BitShares DX, I guess, be a share drop, and where can we find the current value of CloudCoin?
Those are 2 different questions.
That's
so
right,
I'll
2 questions.
Check question for Sean. And as far as share drops, the only thing I can say at this point is yes.
Ooh, which means before Sean, you talk and say again what he's asking. Stan, tell us what that means. The share drops. I'm still unfamiliar with that, and I know a lot of other Blue Rockers are as well.
Yeah, it's actually an archaic term that isn't used anymore. Airdrop is really what we should be saying, and that's simply because share drop sounds like you're giving out securities, and you can't do that kind of thing. And so we have to watch our language very carefully due to the oversensitivity of regulators who want to jump on every word and use that against you. So an airdrop is simply a free giveaway of, like Ben Bernanke talked about going up in a helicopter and dropping dollar bills on everybody. Oh. Okay. Well, this is dropping tokens on everybody, generally intended as a promotion to get them out there. Now, it used to be with Bitcoin, it still is, that the only way to get Bitcoins other than buying them from somebody else is to mine them. Mining is a fancy word for a lottery, okay? And the people who compete in the lottery, instead of buying lottery tickets, they buy or rent computer time, and then the computers try to guess numbers, and whichever number one guesses the right number first wins a token. Oh. So that's a form of airdrop where you have to do something specific. Over on Steemit, a form of airdrop is if you get a lot of votes for your posting a good article, then you get some coins dropped on you. And sometimes it's just, if you hold another coin, then we'll give you one of our new coins, because there's something about people who hold that coin that we want to attract. Okay, so for example, if I had a new Mars candy bar and there was a group of people out there called Mars Coin who were wanting to colonize Mars, maybe I'd say, well, gee, I'll sell them my candy bar if I give them something that's associated with their coin. So if you look at every coin out there as a marker for a demographic, whether it be for people that care about permaculture or people that care about freedom or whatever the issue is, now you can go drop your coin, and you don't have to do it all on one. You could say, I want to attract people who know about BitShares. Okay, so you drop some on BitShares, but you might drop some on Bitcoin as well, because that's sort of more general, or you might drop on something much more specific. And you want to mix and match, trying to bring in the biggest constituency for your coin right off the bat. And that puts it in circulation right away, rather than doing what I consider to be kind of unfair. Mining favors the geeks and people with subsidized power.
Yes.
Right? So the rest of the world can't play. They have to buy it from some of them.
Right.
But if you could share drop like they did with Aurora Coin, everybody who was a citizen of Iceland got some coins, then that's another good strategy. But there's a lot of strategy to that, because the mistake Aurora Coin made was giving them all out at once. So everybody got them and said, I don't know what these are good for, but I'm selling. Yeah, and so it drove the price to zero. If you're going to do this, people have learned you got to trickle them out there so that the supply is limited. And while people are waiting for more to get coming down on them like snowflakes, they say, well, I can't wait that long. I'm going to start buying up cheap snowflakes so I can get a big supply. And if you do that right, you can structure it in such a way that you'll get a growing value for your coin, always more demand than supply.
Okay, you know, I got the EOS airdrop, but it was EOS DAC. But whatever the DAC is, I ended up getting that as an airdrop.
Yeah, okay. And so that's an example. And, you know, every one of these things, you know, if you held on to it, then they were smart in picking you as someone to drop on.
Okay, I held on to it.
Okay, and if you dumped it right away, well, then it was a mistake to give them to you.
Yeah, no, right? I'm a hodler. I'm a hodler, everybody. You can send them to me. I'm a hodler as of now. Before we go to the other question for you, Sean, just this whole thing in my head every time you mention airdrop and share drop. I don't know if you all remember WKRP in Cincinnati, where Les Nessman.
Turkey drop.
The turkey drop. He thought they could fly. That was hilarious. Okay, so Sean, so the question from Cloud Global is, where can we find the current value of CloudCoin?
And so since we don't have an exchange yet, it's pretty difficult. And so you just have to Google buy CloudCoin. And I just did that, and I can see that cloudcoin.digital, which is a place out of Russia, is selling them for 4 cents. I can see that cloudcoins.us is selling them for 3 cents. And so I think that those are the least expensive that you're going to find.
You know, it's fun being on the outside watching you guys. Like today when it went to 22, I had to call up Stan and go, Stan, it's a 22, BitShares. And then, Sean, you know, it's very new to you, very, very new to you, where, you know, Stan's been seeing it for a while, going up and down and, you know, going crazy, right? I'm sure it's got to drive you nuts along the way, but you're just getting started to being driven nuts, Sean. But it's got to be cool to see it start growing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Your baby?
Yeah, we're just finishing doing the basic things that a currency needs to have. We need to be on an exchange. We need to be able to work within markets on the, I should just say, web pages. So you should be able to buy things with them on web pages, and we should work within software with our SDKs. And so we're just like almost done with all of that stuff all at one time. And so we're ready to go into other things, but that's going to make us a mature currency, and we'll be able to, people will be able to invest in it if they want to, and they'll be able to spend it. xyzbuys.com is going to accept it as payment, and they'll be able to use it in their video games. And if you're a programmer and you want to use it in any kind of program that you have, you'll be able to do that. I
think that's really cool. And I know that you've touched on quite a bit your 3D virtual reality stuff coming in the future. I know you've mentioned that. So will BitShares be a part of that? So that's, you can mention
what we call Cloud World.
Cloud World.
And me and Stan haven't really talked about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So we've got about 5. Well, it's nothing to be sorry about. There's a whole bunch of projects that we've got going on, and there's a whole bunch of opportunities. So who knows?
It's so fun it's so fun. It's not boring business stuff. It's fun.
I mean, I can imagine that we could use BitShares to exchange video game items. Like you go into a video game and you win, like, I don't know, weapons or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to exchange them or something. So I could, imagine a huge use for that. And
virtual reality, some tough dude. You want to buy this? Yeah. How many BitShares you got? How many you need? You ain't got enough for this one.
And, there's all kinds of just crazy things that we're, I don't know, I don't know if you've ever seen, but there's a video game, and you can, like, you can buy, like, a the whole world of virtual reality and video games is changing things.
I love it.
And so, you know, there's who knows what the possibilities are.
I love it. I have a friend that's really, really big into it and really good, and he has some history of doing something really major at one point, and I'm going to connect him with you guys because he had something really cool going on, and he was going to put it on the Ethereum blockchain. I think he had money behind it. I don't know where he is with it. I don't know, but it was like, dude, come this way. So I'm going to introduce y'all. I can't wait. I can't wait. So Stan,
Yeah,
you're going to say something. Sorry.
One other thing while we're on that subject, my Steemit/@Stan article of the week was talking about yet another whole category that we've talked about doing with CloudCoin. Michael Taggart has a project that has to do with 3D printing, and I was out in Boise attending a kickoff for that, and you know, we spent most of the day briefing a small group of investors on what we could do with that, and we found a use for RAIDA technology, the kind of technology that validates cloud coins, that could actually embed some of those markers in everything that's printed, and with that being embedded in everything that's printed, a whole bunch of new possibilities come out. So there's another number 4.
Number 4. Yeah. You know what, though? I mean, the people, like you all say, the banksters out there, you know, what about the money makers? Why not use RAIDA to authenticate? Only on second try. Not bad, not bad. It's over now. Authenticate, thank you. Dollar bills, the bills we use now, you know, they're always looking up and doing that number, you know, and eventually someone's going to be able to, you know, attack that way of counterfeiting. So why not? Why wouldn't they be calling you, Sean, right now to go, hey, what about, you know, we need you for the actual currency, fiat, you know, what, you know, RAIDA could work for that, correct?
Absolutely, and so could, of course, BitShares. I think that what they've got to do is they've got to get their butts kicked, and they've got to have people not wanting to use the dollar. And as soon as people don't want to use the dollar, then they have to start competing, and then we'll see them maybe try to see if they can partner or who knows what. Mm-hmm. But if the dollar starts getting killed because of the properties that digital money have that is preferable to paper money, we could certainly see that. And yeah, we could embed basically chips into dollar bills or magnetic strips into dollar bills, which will allow us to read and write to them and to change the numbers and to be able to authenticate them in that way. So that's very possible, and that would allow them to go from digital, I mean, it's a physical where we're holding them, to a digital item, you know, instantaneously. So that's very possible. And the United States government does spend $800 million printing up money, and they have to spend hundreds more to try to stop
the counterfeiters.
Counterfeiting.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it would be not to mention just driving all this money around and handling the money. So certainly, I think in the future we'll see that. But right now, I don't think that the Federal Reserve folks are very, well, let's just say.
I hope they wake up to that, though, for you.
Yeah.
You know.
I think they're going to have to wake up one day and realize, hey, everybody's not using our money because they like this other money more. And in that case, they might think about switching.
Well, here's a question for you, because you had said once before that you could put your RAIDA technology on human organs, right? First of all, keep it away from being the beast, all right? Okay, Stan, we got to watch that. But we got to really watch that. We're going to be on your tail, buddy. Stan will really be on your tail on that one. But if you could do that, then that means technically, I don't know, but you tell me, can you put it on, and go with me here, can you put it on foods to where they can track the foods, to where, like, just recently there was some sort of another, where some people got really sick having McDonald's salads or something like that. Could you end up really tracking down at that point, okay, it all happened at McDonald's, now we can track down the lettuce because it has the RAIDA technology in it and find exactly where it was from? Is that something as well you could do with the RAIDA technology?
So that kind of technology might be best for blockchain, or actually blockchain and RAIDA working together. And because the RAIDA, we can put a cloud coin into in theory, we can put a CloudCoin into a nanochip and put it into food so that you could eat it and swallow it and it'll just pass right through you. And we could run a signal over this and we could test, to see whether it's there. But the CloudCoins don't track anything. And so they just tell you who the owner is at any given time. And so you could wrap that in the blockchain where this thing is, whenever it changes hands, it then goes to the blockchain and tracks its location or something like that.
Right.
That would be possible. But that's one of the things that the blockchain does that the RAIDA doesn't, and that is track everything.
Oh, I see. Because I thought that maybe you could find where the original, farm where these things were grown was.
Well, we could do that. We could check to see if it was like counterfeit lettuce or something.
Oh.
We couldn't watch the entire
Soylent Green.
Where it's,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and by the way, the beast. I have a theory about the beast.
Oh, let's hear. Let's hear this one. Close
I
up. Hold
beast,
on. I must get a close up on you. Here we go. Okay, the beast.
I think if the beast is real, the beast is going to be a artificial intelligent creature that comes out of a lot of technology and decides to kill us. I think if there's going to be a beast, that's what it's going to be.
Sci-Fi Stan, what do you think? Stan's thinking about it. You're
asking me?
Yeah.
You're talking to me.
I'm talking to you.
Well, there is a thing in the Bible referred to as the image of the beast, and it kind of comes to life and so on. So that may be what Sean is referring to. The mark of the beast is generally a required thing on your forehead or arm that you got to have in order to have permission from a one world government to buy and sell. And but there are lots of symbologies in the book of Revelations that you can map onto some of the things we've been talking about.
Well, earlier, because of the way my little situation is set up on screen, earlier, right on your head, Sean, or Stan, Stan, right on your head, Stan, when you were up here, and even right now, both of them are, but it was a perfect CloudCoin right on your head the entire time you talked, and I had to move it because I went, oh no, that's like the mark of the beast, so anyway, that was what was going on in my mind. So we got some questions here in the live chat. You're watching Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. This is Crypto Connie, and it's Crypto Connie Tuesday. Thank you for those of you that are just now joining us. I hope you subscribe. I hope you tell other people, and I hope you support in crypto. Please, I love it. It's so much fun. That is so much better than the other fan funding stuff. So thank you very much when you guys do that. I wanted to make sure I thank you for those that do that. So here we go here. So hit the like button too while you're here. Okay. Has Stan, this is A.A. Arnold, has Stan talked to Dan lately about his BitShares 3.0 statements? Need clarification.
Yeah, we are not in the habit of talking business because we work for two different companies and just don't want to have any back channel communication like that. I have been keeping track of what he's doing and welcoming it because I think it will be something that upgrades the entire graphene family as he introduces it. So once again, I like to kid around and say, well, you guys may have $2 billion that you raised, but you're our R&D department, so there.
Wow, $2 billion. Can he slip Dad a little bit, on the side like you used to slip him? $2 billion. Can you imagine that? Does that mean that Dan, your son, is worth $2 billion?
No. He has to share that with the rest of the world. But you can. There's two things. And I have no insight at all to their financials.
I understand.
We know from the crowd sale or whatever you want to call it that went on for a year that they raised a certain amount of stuff, mostly in Ethereum. I assume they've diversified, so it's not all in Ethereum right now. That's completely different from the value of those coins that were distributed in that way, and those are whatever the market cap says they are right now, 6 billion or something. So 2 billion in their collected coffers in the process that they raised as a result of releasing these other coins, which have since grown in value. And so there's kind of two pools that we're talking about. And the thing that pays, I assume, for Dan to do what he does comes out of the either private investment that they had before this started, or things that were raised during that period of time. So, once again, this is just an outside observer looking at what they're doing. But my point is, they've got nearly unlimited resources for doing R&D.
Yes.
And so, what's really cool for a system integrator like me is I don't need or even intend to do basic research of the kind of stuff Dan's doing at the blockchain level, or the kind of thing Sean's doing at the RAIDA level. Okay, I love to work and say, wow, look at all the cool Lego parts that they're making. What can I put together with that?
Yeah, it's perfect. That's why you guys are making a perfect team. Just going back to Dan just for a little bit and the money part of it, just curious. I don't know. Maybe it's not my business, but have you noticed the presents for Father's Day and birthday and Christmas getting a little better along the way?
Oh, yes. Well, I expect sooner or later he will buy me BitShares Island.
All right. Yay. I hope we all get to visit it too. So let's see. I think we may have asked this, maybe not. Will we get EOS airdrops? I don't think you would know that, would you?
I'm trying to communicate with a long pregnant pause.
Oh, I like it. Yes. Okay. Will we get EOS? Oh, okay. Will we get EOS airdrops on BitShares exchange? Another pause.
As you can probably detect a trend, the only thing I can say about airdrops is yes, but the details of what and how and when have yet to be worked out.
Okay, all right. 1-2 is EOS and BitShares going to give Coinbase competition in the future?
Yes.
Ooh, quick. That was fast, no hesitation, no pregnant pause. Like it. I think it's Lane or Ian. I'm sorry. I think it's Lane or Lan. Question for Sean. Several people new to CloudCoin are asking why CloudCoin RAIDA is not open sourced. Are there plans to open source it in the future?
So Bitcoin was open source, and now there's 1,500 Bitcoins, or 1,500. So they just took the code, copied and pasted it, marketed it. And so no, there's no plans to make the RAIDA open source. It's actually patented by me. It's been given to CloudCoin. We just want to have one CloudCoin, and that's it.
I like it. Make it easy, right? My goodness, All right, so this one's for you, Stan. I mean, Sean might know, but where can I get a 3D print of Michael Taggart? And we got to have the RAIDA technology on that one to authenticate it.
Yeah. Well, that particular company has a brilliant business plan and a great future, but it's just getting started. So you're going to have to buy 3D printers from mere mortals for a while.
Well, I think it's great that you all are together and people are hanging out. Please hit that like button while you're here. I just want to make it a quick and easy night tonight. You guys have worked so hard and you've really pulled together some neat stuff and had fun. And you, of course, transmitted so much of that back here to Blue Rock Talk here on Crypto Connie, and it was fun. I mean, it was really fun doing that. What Stan, while you were out there, what was your favorite part of all of it? If you had to, not even just business-wise, but or not, whatever. What's your top 3 things while you were there that you took home from FreedomFest?
Yeah, I will have to give credit where credit's due. Judge Napolitano's speech just knocked my socks off. He was up there. He gave the world a history lesson of freedom and government, and governments run amok, and it was just awesome. That was just pure libertarian cocaine right there. So to me, that was probably the most memorable event. The other one was just wandering back and forth with what seemed like Sean's team and our team kind of merging together and spreading out all over the place, and all those interactions and stuff. I think that's probably the thing that was most useful about the time we were there. And then we had some pretty good dinners.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was going to say, I was hoping you guys would send me pictures. I'm, a culinary grad. We always want people to send pictures of their food, because that's what we do. We send pictures of our food, and people, it's fun. So, Sean, what about you? What were your top 3 things at FreedomFest?
Well, actually, Judge Napolitano was one of mine as well. However, I had just gotten off the stage, and I was kind of like in a daze, so I only watched the last half of it.
We were told your zipper was down the whole time, but no one said anything yet. You had no idea.
And then Stan and Michael Taggart and some of our programmers had some really interesting conversations that I really enjoyed. And then we had a nice banquet at the end, and Michael Taggart was there. And we had 10 seats, but 11 people. Actually, we had 12 people. And so we ended up putting my son on my lap, and we were able to steal another chair from some other team. I don't know how we got it, but we ended up having a very nice dinner and got to do some dancing afterwards. So that was a lot of fun.
That's excellent. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you this last question. Well, let me see if there's anything else over here first, then I'll ask those questions, and I'll let Stan be the person to think about it first. But here's a question for Sean. What do you say to crypto people who are saying they will not support CloudCoin because it is not open sourced? What do we say to them? What do your fans and those around you say?
Well, we haven't had very many people say that, and I don't know what makes open source something better. If a product is, I would just say that you might be ripping yourself off, because by not making it open source, we're actually making it much more secure. And keep in mind that the front end is open source, and so maybe what I should say is that there's different technologies. There's the RAIDA, which is the back stuff, and that's all closed source. But all of the client software, you can download that and change it and do all you want with it. So much of it is open source. It's just the back end that's not that's closed source.
Okay, one more for you, Stan. What happened?
Okay.
What happened?
Wait. Oh, I want to weigh in on this too.
Oh, okay, sure.
This is a teachable moment.
Okay.
Okay. One thing that BitShares is famous for through all the time is essentially goring oxes and getting rid of false myths. Okay. People out there, a lot of people still today think you're not valid if you don't use mining. Okay, 85% of all blockchain transactions today don't use mining, and there's still people calling Dan Larimer a heretic for getting rid of it. Okay, the whole idea that the only legitimate way of giving out coins was to use mining. The idea that you have to go waste 90% or 95% of the value burning electricity so that somebody with a mining rig can get the coins first and then sell them to you, instead of selling them directly to the user and pocketing what they paid for it to build up your business, was absolute heresy back in 2013. By 2014, we had revolutionized things and showed people that mining was dead. You didn't need it to distribute stuff, and you didn't need it to secure the blockchain. Okay? And there's still a lot of people that hold these ideas. They have no idea why they want to have open source. It's just an article of faith. Open source is good, and closed source is bad. Open source is there specifically for the category of things that have to do with securing the blockchain and needing to be inspectable, so everybody can see there's no hidden doors and it's totally transparent, and all the different computers in the world can compile that same software and know they've got the right stuff and they've inspected it. Okay, that's why you have to have open source. Now, there's other benefits that make open source a nice thing to do because it stimulates the growth of the industry. But there are also many reasons why something should not be open source. When it's closed source, it allows a company to grow. It makes it investable. If you go out and you say to an investor, I'm going to open source this, chances are they're going to say, well, if you open source it, then where do I get the value from giving you my money and letting you build this thing? As soon as you're done, everybody has the benefit of my money. Okay? So it is absolutely ludicrous to say everything has to be open source. There are basically intellectual property that is what enables a company to grow and be worth investing in. And also the desire of being able to stabilize a product in such a way that you can achieve a certain vision without having people watering you down. And the real problem with it is that the person who invented all the money runs out, and this happens with cryptonomics as well, runs out of money from its first tranche, delivers a beautiful product to the world, and everybody else with fresh money picks it up and goes and does something with it and makes all the profit. And the company that built it is out of energy or out of funds or whatever to go do something with it. So I'd like to ask people to go back to the principles you think you hold and understand where they came from. And don't go saying to innovators out there who bring you insanely great products that we can piece together to make better systems than we could by itself. We all want to engineer freedom. To do that, we have to focus resources. And if we constantly bleed them out, then we never get to the critical mass necessary to deliver the insanely great vision that we all have. So that's why I would say, in this particular case, CloudCoin is very wise to guard its intellectual property. I am going to be building hybrid systems that are hybrid open and closed that complement each other and do things that can't be done otherwise. I got a stupid cat here.
Is that what was going on there?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a tail?
Somewhere down there, there's the varmint. I did want to point out one more thing. If you see in the background, I don't know whether you can see that.
Yes, Don Quixote.
Picture hanging down?
Yeah.
That's Don Quixote de la Mancha.
Uh-huh.
Michael bought that for me when he was over in Spain and brought it the whole way back, gave it to me in Boise, and I smuggled it clear back to Virginia. Don Quixote is our hero because he was out there always tilting windmills and didn't mind looking ridiculous doing. And so way back in the very early days, he was our mascot in 2013, Don Quixote de la Mancha. And tilting windmills is reminiscence of taking on powers far greater than yourself in a impossible dream type of a quest. And so Michael found that and brought it back, and now I got it hanging here in my office.
That's pretty cool. Is he that beer guy?
Yeah.
He's the beer guy?
Beer guy ran around in a knight's outfit and had a faithful deputy that came along with him riding on a little donkey or something.
The beer guy.
Oh, the beer guy, no.
Who's the beer guy that everybody...
Isn't that the most sophisticated man in the
world?
No.
Oh.
Don Quixote was insane.
They have anything to do with you. Don Quixote was heroic. He was not sophisticated.
Oh, okay. And there is a difference, that's for sure. I think we have another. Yeah. This is for you, Stan. What happened to Bitcoin Latino?
The guy that created it went rogue and stole everybody's money, and just imploded. He's still out there running around, making claims and so on, and it's just one of those things. Had a great idea. It would have been a fantastic product and a chance to actually put up a Bitcoin clone targeted to a particular demographic, South America, and he had some good alliances and so on that I thought were meritorious, and he had good connections with people that had good understanding of the SEC. So he had everything going, and then one day he just decided to steal everybody's coins and take it back, and forgot the first principle of cryptocurrencies is that there is no central place of control, that everything has to be decentralized. And you can't yank and bank every week on a change of plan because some central authoritarian figure wants to change it. And so that particular project is still going on. Anybody who knows anything about it understands it's absolutely radioactive. And if anybody, right now, anybody who participates in that says anything critical in that forum is immediately evicted. So the only thing you have left is people too afraid or too innocent to understand who they're dealing with. And but I think it's a very self-destructive community and not going anywhere.
All right, Stan, you don't mind just getting in the center of that, your picture there, will you? Yeah, there you go. I was cutting you off. I didn't want to do that anymore. I'm sorry.
I was letting Don Quixote stand in for me.
You did. You absolutely did on that. So we do have some more questions that came this way. This one is for Sean. How will CloudCoins deal with expirations when it's tokenized for BitShares trading?
So they don't actually expire. They just need to be re-authenticated. So we have our bank, or the depository, once it sees it's a year old, it just goes and re-authenticates it, just in case it takes a couple seconds. And we're building that feature into all of our software. So if they see any files that have been there for a year, they'll just re-authenticate them automatically.
And that's something you feel that you have to do? It always have to. Why? What is the purpose of that? And why did you pick 2 years?
Yeah, this is something that's very unpopular with people. And I'll tell you why we did it and what we're working on now to fix it. We are having different options, but if we want to pay for the system, we have to have some cloud coins come from somewhere. And so Bitcoin has a solution, and that is let them be mined, and they come into existence that way, and then the administrators, the people that run the servers, are paid by those new Bitcoins. We didn't want to have any, we wanted to kill two birds with one stone. One thing, we don't want any loss, so we don't want permanent loss. And so how can we give somebody back their lost coins if we don't know when they're lost? We had to put a year there. We would think about 3 years and we change it to 2. And so the system, you might not like it, but it's really great if you lose your cloud coins, because then you can get them back in 2 years. So, but if for some reason nobody does claim them, then that allows the RAIDA to get cloud coins and pay for the operations. And so having the date in which it is lost, or considered permanently lost, allows us to, number one, recover lost cloud coins, and number two, pay for the system. And so you don't have any kind of fees or any transaction problems. And the process of authentication takes just a couple seconds. We did discover a new way on how we can keep them from being lost permanently, or that we can recover lost. And that is, we can put a hash of a person's email address along with the serial number of the coin into the authenticity number and store that on the RAIDA and allow the RAIDA.
Yeah.
And so that allows us to recover them immediately. And so if you lose your coins, you can recover them and have them sent to your email. And that, of course, is something that no other coins can do. So once you lose your coins, you might be happy to have that feature, but a lot of people are freaked out that they're going to lose their coins after 2 years. But if they're in a bank, or if they're in a depository, or if they're even in your own software in the future, when you turn on the software, it's going to check to see the dates, and if they're old, it's going to go ahead and re-authenticate them in a couple seconds.
Okay, excellent.
So is it fair to say that when they're in the depository and you're carrying around a token for one cloud coin, that the depository is taking the responsibility of keeping them up to date? That's
right. That's right. And so people should not, I don't think it'll be possible for them to expire. And certainly that token is not going to expire. And so people could have, trade them into Cloudy, or whatever we call the BitShares version, and they'll be able to have that indefinitely.
I love Cloudy. Just sounds like tissue paper to me. Cloudy. You can see the bears in the woods showing off their little Cloudy that they have. Okay, let's so you answered their question there. Can you put cloud coins on a debit card? So
we can put cloud coins on any place where you can store data. And so, for example, most debit cards have a chip that allow for a lot of data to be stored. And yes, we could put lots of cloud coins in those debit cards. If you lost your debit card, however, you would lose the coins, so you'd want to have some kind of record of the serial numbers. Then again, we can recover them after 2 years, or if you embed your email address in there, and we can recover that.
If you have an expired cloud coin, would that be considered a lost coin eligible for recovery?
No. So what happens is if you have a coin that hasn't been authenticated for 2 years, over 2 years, then the RAIDA administrators have license to mine that and put it together and use it for themselves, to pay themselves.
Whoa,
so,
you need little reminder things or something, because people like me, your retail folks here that are going to be just, oh, we got cloud and we got, us hodlers, we're going to need to be reminded of, oh, we got to do this, because we're not thinking like that. We're out living our day, hoping we can, use it at the local market or whatever for sure. But can you do something like that where you can give us a little dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, hey, go,
Well, we certainly don't know who's got the coins.
Oh, you don't?
Stan, did you have an idea?
Well, yeah. If you're that type of person, keep them in the depository and manipulate cloudies, and then that's perfectly fine. When you want to have the actual token is when you're actively doing something with it, making it a private transaction or whatever. And if you have concerns that your ability to manage it is beyond what you're comfortable with, then use the depository and put in your BitShares account a token that's good for one cloud coin anytime you want it. That way you've still got exposure to the price of cloud coin going up, and you don't have any of the management headaches. So that's what I'm saying about these things going together real well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. All
right.
right.
There's a chance that we might, we could, that 2 years was arbitrary. We could change that to 3 years. It is possible that we could make adjustments. And we were thinking about waiting for the first 5 years to pass, but we'll see.
Well, what about...
There's a lot of people that have lost their coins that want them back, and they're waiting for them. They're waiting for that 2-year period.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe you could buy the 6-month period at one price, a year period the next price, 4 or 5 year, whatever, because maybe if you're a big trader or something like that, you want one that does it every month or something, We
actually do have you could actually pay to have your coins life extended, believe it or not.
Oh.
You can do that.
Believe it or not. Of course, you can create the rules as you go. That's awesome. That's a great idea.
But the thing is that we want to stop loss, stop permanent loss, and we also need to pay for the infrastructure, and this is the way that seemed to make sense.
Yeah, I just love it here. Okay, the crypto market is insane. I love it. And do you have a ETA on when CloudCoin will be on BitShares? I think we've asked that several times, but any idea? Within the month, within 2 years?
Like I said, it was supposed to be last week, so maybe it'll be next week.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Excellent. Soon. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap it up here so you guys can get some rest, and thank you so much for joining us. Before we go here, I'll ask Sean first so Stan can think about it. But so Sean, if you can put it as briefly as possible in one sentence, how do you see the future of BitShares and CloudCoin, your technology and the BitShares dynasty? How do you see that in the future happening? What do you see for the future in one sentence or brief couple of words?
I'd say that we're going to be a technological monster, and we're going to, work in perfect harmony, and we're going to dominate.
All right. Okay. And Stan?
I like that one. I wouldn't change it a bit.
I think you're right. I agree with you. It was had a couple ands in it, but it worked, and it was one sentence. So I'm with you. I think you're right. Okay. All right. Well, Blue Rockers, thank you for joining us. This is Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis, Crypto Connie, and Crypto Connie Tuesday. And of course, it's not always on Tuesday that it happens, as you saw last week when they were at FreedomFest. But this was the review of FreedomFest from Sean Worthington right there on the far left, as you're watching the show. and he is the founder of CloudCoin and, yes, and RAIDA. And then right in the middle there is Stan Larimer, the godfather of BitShares. And the BitShares dynasty continues. You guys, I'm loving it. So thanks, you guys, for being on tonight, and also for sharing the ride as we move forward. So I'm looking forward to what you guys have next for us. And maybe it is that it's on the exchange, and we'll just cut in live. That'll be breaking news for sure. All right. Any last words? Just that.
No.
All right. And that was them, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Connie Willis, Crypto Connie, and Crypto Connie Tuesday happening. That was fun, wasn't it? And to follow them all the way through FreedomFest, and just, out of nowhere, I mean, you guys should have been on my side. It was fun enough to watch them scrambling, and actually even seeing them when you talk to somebody on camera there, you'd see the rest of them behind the scenes, and they would be talking like they were all old buddies, and I just thought this is going to be amazing, and I'm so excited. We didn't even get to talk about the Quintric people, but that's okay. We'll do that at another time. You can also look back at some of the last week's videos, and you'll see where we talked to the Quintric people, and that I got to see them for the first time too. Very nice people, very intelligent as well, and very nice. And that's what I like about all these people. This is good stuff. So you keep hanging in here so that you can find hopefully the ones that you guys want to follow. All right. So thank you as well, you guys. Thanks for the live chat. Keep in mind that I know Stan goes back and reads those. Sean probably will when he gets time, but go ahead and say something nice in there. I know you guys have, and I appreciate what you guys say too. Again, thank you for giving in crypto when you decide to give to Blue Rock Talk. That's really cool. I enjoy that so much. It's fun. And let me just check one more time before we go here. BitShares is at 22.8, so it's even, still going up, still going up. Steam at 306, Steam dollars 136. Wait a minute, and EOS, wait a minute, I got money in that one too, 905. So everything's going up. I'm so happy. Those are the ones I care about. I will be on Coast to Coast coming up again next month, and I'm going to have the guy on, William Gazetke, that the audio went bad on him. And so we're going to be doing something where we talk about crop circles and his perspective as a documentarian of watching this guy actually predict crop circles and go there. And there it is, exactly as he described, when, where, and what it looked like, as well as taking pictures of things that I'll just wait and let you guys see that. More to come here on Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. Crypto Connie saying thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we will be talking to you soon, I'm sure. I can't wait for the next live breaking news that we have. It might be that CloudCoin is on the BitShares exchange. Night, everybody.